So we were talking about the whole thing about mental health and things like that. So I would say the mental health is one well-being of, like how happy I am or how, unhappy I am, and that aspect of it. So that's more what I understand. I know at the moment it's got negative connotations. As soon as you say mental health, everybody thinks about somebody who has anxiety or depression or something like that. But when I'm thinking about mental health, I'm thinking more about, how is my mental health? Am I happy? Am I sad? Am I, at a loss? That sort of an aspect of it.
What about you?
Well, I look at it from the point of view, mental health means feeling healthy and feeling healthy mind. So therefore, being satisfied with who I am as a person, being happy, in my life, regardless of whether it be with work, with my partner, with just in general, feeling mentally and I guess emotionally healthy as well, in the same way that I would, as opposed to, and if there are issues with my mental health, well then obviously I'm not, as Puru said, I'm not coping in some way. I'm not, I'm not happy, or I'm experiencing depression or anxiety or whatever it might be.
Somebody getting very angry, in the sense that, like with our daughter, she would just, if you talk to her about something, she'd just explode. Yeah.
And very rapid mood changes.
Yeah.
From being seemingly perfectly happy, or seeming perfectly happy, to them just being basically like having a cloud come over her and changing. But this is not something that we noticed until, just very close to the time that she actually took her own life, just within those last couple of months.
Yeah.
Whereas from what I guess I've come to understand, since then, obviously there must have been a lot more going on prior to that, probably for, who knows how long, a couple of years, a few years or whatever. But so I would interpret it as someone showing, displaying their unhappiness, their, sort of the fact that they're not coping. And I think that's one of the things that most bothered me, was the fact that with our daughter in particular, for a long time there, she seemed as though she was perfectly happy.
She was able to mask
everything.
So yeah, which was, for us, it was, for me especially, it was like, okay. And some of my colleagues would talk about especially one colleague would talk about her daughter doing similar things, and I would just say, okay, they're both teenagers, doing this. You would interpret it in a very different way. So that's the type of things we always thought about. Yeah.
And that was, I know there were times when I would express my concerns. Not that I ever, thought that she was really depressed or anything. I never saw anything like that. Well, I didn't suspect anything like that, I should say. But I was worried about some of her behaviours. But when I would talk to Puru about them, or even to some of my other friends, and that, they'd just say, well, that's just, there's so many young people like that. That's the way they are. That's just part of them growing up and going through life. And I'd go, and I'd just say, well, maybe I'm just an older mother who is way out of touch with, what's happening. And I have regrets about that. I've said to Pura a few times, I really wish that I had perhaps relied on my own gut instincts. But then again, what could I have done? What could I have done? Maybe I could have tried talking to her more. Maybe I could have taken a different approach to the way that, I dealt with her. I don't know. I don't know. Hindsight's a wonderful thing.
Yeah. I mean, with our daughter, one of the main thing was she'd sit in her room, basically, and not come out.
That was only in the last few months.
Yeah, but it was still something that, so I would say now if somebody talked to me or something about that sort of behaviour, I would sort of try to talk to them and say, maybe there is something there, you might have to go and see somebody about it or talk to somebody about it rather than just ignoring it.
Or seek help ourselves,
Yeah.
In terms of coming to someone such as yourself and saying, look, I'm really concerned about, my daughter's behaviour. Have you got any advice as to... She was an extremist, and she would do extreme behaviours, which I interpreted earlier on, probably 2 or 3 years beforehand, more as a reaction against the sort of values that we tried to instill in her. And she was she's the sort of person who would do things just on the spur of the moment and would be, and do extreme things. For example, if she wasn't happy at work, although she seemed to be happy, everyone loved her in various jobs and she seemed to move around, and the reason she moved around was because she would get fed up with somebody or something at work and just walk out. So one of the things, for example, that she did was just walk out of work one morning, and I got a phone call from Puru saying that she'd been trying to contact me, but I was teaching it at the time. She was catching a plane to Singapore.
Yeah, I got a call from her saying, I'm at the airport, I'm going to Singapore.
Luckily we had, Puru had a cousin in Singapore, and so she had actually contacted her and asked if she could come and stay. But basically, she'd gone to work that morning, we'd seen her, she was living with us. Yeah. She was perfectly happy seemed perfectly happy when she left. At, I don't know, 7:30 or whatever time it was, and we went off to work, and then...
I got a call, yeah.
And so at 1:30...
Midday I got a call saying I'm at the airport.
So at 1 or 1:30 when I came out of class, I got this message and went, what the heck? So I said, I've got to leave, and I was out to the airport and luckily got to see her before she got on the plane. But that sort of behaviour, just out of the blue.
I mean, one day we got up and went to her room and she wasn't there. And we tried to ring her and everything else. Then again I was at work and I got a call from her, and she was in Albany. So
yeah, that was really scary. She was in Albany. She said, this was about, she finally answered her phone at about 4:30 or something in the afternoon. We were frantic trying to, we didn't even know she'd gone. She'd gone out through the laundry door, so we didn't, because normally there's a ding-dong thing on our main door. She was